Oh, okay, Kevin's online.
I am here.
Probably get started then. Welcome, everybody. Welcome in Arthur County. My next of the woods, so you'll have an understanding of my drive when I come downtown. It's normally monthly basis. So. Let's start out with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Erie County.
Present.
Buffalo.
Present.
Niagara County.
Here.
Niagara Falls.
Present.
Highway Authority.
Here.
DOT.
Here.
And FTA.
Present.
All present.
All right. So everybody was provided with a copy of the minutes in your package. We had a chance to browse those.
Erie County makes a motion to accept the meeting minutes.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Oh, I skipped the agenda. Anybody want to act on the agenda?
Sure, Erie County will. Make a motion to accept the agenda.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Angelica.
All right, quick communications report. Our highlights, top list of the pages, main page, maps and data, career opportunities, tip, and about us. Keywords, Buffalo, bike path, Region Central, and GBNRTC. Our total website visits, 1,520. Followers are increasing one by one, except for LinkedIn, where we got 14 added followers. Our top posts where we are hiring and the Check Your Height, Know It's Right campaign. Those are the two that got the most likes and shares on social media. Our stakeholder engagement is the Fair Committee, Mayor Scanlon, and Buffalo DPW, NISA Bridge Hit Mitigation Campaign webinar, and also the US DOT National Freight Strategic Plan Update webinar that Rick attended. We had some in the news items. As you can see, a lot of it had to do with the Street Smart Erie County campaign. And in your packets, you'll have QR codes. If you wanted to read the articles, you're welcome to do so. Four of those covered that. And then another one covered the Planned Gun Creek path with the Western New York papers. In terms of public commentary, we did get an inquiry that came in via email by Stephen. That's Maurice for the Scajaquada coverage during PCC and policy inquiry, which was responded to. Additionally, yesterday we received a letter from the New York State legislator, Sean Ryan and Jonathan Rivera, requesting that the vote for the 2026 to 2030 TIP be delayed until January 2026. It is not part of the communications report, but in your packets, you should all have a copy of the letter. That was also sent by email yesterday. That kind of covers our communications report for this month.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Angelica? All right. Moving on, we'll move to public participation. Anybody like to speak? Please stand up, state your name and address, and keep it to 3 minutes or less, please.
We have a podium over here with a microphone, if you can stand. Over there. Right next.
Here? Okay. I'm Doug Funky, the president of Citizens Regional Transit. We're very pleased to see that the NFTA EIS is out there. We're reviewing it. Did a very nice job. We're still going through it, and we're going to have comments on that. We would like to get an update. We hope to get an update on the DOT's Kensington project. We hope, as we said in previous meetings, that the Region Central money gets restored. the $100 million, and it gets combined with the Kensington. It doesn't make sense for those two projects to be separate, because how can you do the Kensington without knowing how much traffic is coming off of the Kensington or the Scajaquada? So we hope those get combined. We hope to hear more about that. We're looking forward to the DOT's EIS process, which we believe requires to start with community input. And those inputs need to start with defining the objectives. And the objectives need to be changed from before to highlight community health, public health, and the lead highways killing people. So we need to make that a priority and de-emphasize the traffic and car counts. So we're looking forward to working with DOT on this and this whole group. I don't think it's up to DOT. I think all of this group and all the community should have input into that project. So we're looking forward to moving ahead and being successful on that project. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jim Gordon, Treasurer for Citizens for Regional Transit. This building, Saturday, we spent an hour at the Niagara County Fair. We had great participation. We talked about Lockport as a transportation hub. Most people probably don't even realize there are 4 different agencies that serve Lockport with public transportation. Connect Niagara, NFTA, the Niagara County, there's a shuttle service, and the shuttle that goes between Lockport and Niagara Falls. We had great participation. We had a lot of people willing to submit feedback on the DEIS, which I don't know if you've had a chance to read it from Metro Rail. We've gone through the executive summary, extremely well written. If you want to model DEIS, that's the one to do. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Steve Fitzmaurice. I'm retired, so I don't represent anybody but myself, and I actually had time to go to meetings like this. But I wanted to talk about the funding for the Scajaquada re-envisionment. That the renderings that I've seen have been very inspiring. I've spent a lot of time in Delaware Park, and also taking the bike path from Hoyt Lake down to Niagara Street, and if you haven't done it, you should take a look at it. It's sad, but I would liken it to the public discussion that went on about Canal Side. That we talked about a $50 million investment there from the public sector that they hoped would bring a 1-to-1 investment from the private sector, and you ended up with more like 6-to-1 from private versus public sector there. And I think you're looking at the same thing there. We have. There's a lot of detractors about Buffalo around the country, but one of the wonderful legacies that we have here is Olmsted's legacy between the parkways and the public parks. I mean, it's just beautiful. And to have a rural form of transportation dividing Delaware Park, it doesn't make any sense. That should be a local road, if anything. And the potential for that, the creek that runs from Hoyt Lake down to Niagara Street is just incredible. If you were to clean that up and make the land on either side available for some form of responsible development, I think it could be incredible. Right now, it's just sad. So anyway, that's what I have to say, and I hope you see your way to restoring the funding specifically to the Scajaquada. Thank you.
Speakers?
I have an online comment.
Okay.
So Barbara Rowe, she's on Facebook, said at the last GBNRTC meeting, I asked about a response to comments regarding the TIP proposal. NYSTOD representative stated that they were still reviewing comments and will respond in a couple of weeks. What is the update?
Our response is still the same. I speak with our main office folks on a regular basis, multiple times a week. They are still working on Still working on this issue internally, working with public officials and doing some outreach on there. Once we have a statement and a direction forward on both the Kensington and 198 project, it will go out for public review and it will be for everyone to review and see. So the update is we're still at the same point right now. We're urging them for a quick response as we get very close to needing to approve this tip to move forward into the next program. So it is coming, but nothing more to report at this time.
I want to just make sure that and clarify. You said public review, Nick. The process that we've talked about is that the response to all the comments will go back to the people who commented, and then we'll put the updated document up on our website. That'll be available to see. But I'm not anticipating, unless the members choose to, that we're going to have another public comment period.
Yeah, good clarification. Yes, the comment responses will be made available, but it won't be a public review period per se. Correct. Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else under public participation? If not, we'll move on to action items. Rich.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first action item before us this morning is a new project. This is from the DOT, amendment number 41, 581617 Bridge Renewal Program. That's the I-290 bridges over Route 324 Sheridan Drive, right here on the road. This project proposal will eliminate the bridge's structural deficiencies, providing adequate capacity and service life of 75 years. New bridge design should look at possibly removing the piers in the middle section to improve sight distance around Harlem Road, and also investigate operational improvements on Sheridan Drive from Harlem Road to the I-290 westbound on off-ramp in coordination with the new bridge design. The total project will have a cost of $22.86 million. However, before you today, the request is to only add the first phase, which is preliminary design, at a cost of $1.8 million to the tip. That is because the preliminary design phase will occur in federal fiscal year 2025. The remainder of the project's phases and funding, which amounts to about $21 million, are programmed in the next tip, which we just discussed. On 6/25, interagency consultation group concurred with the proposed air quality conformity exemption of A19, widening narrow pavements or reconstructing bridges, and public review completed on 7/24 with no comments being received. Does DOT have anything to add to this one?
Nope, that was a good update.
Okay. Therefore, today's action would be to approve this new project via resolution GBNRTC 2525-27.
DOT makes a motion to.
Troy seconds.
We have a motion made and seconded. Are there any questions on this project? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. The next two are project modifications. The first is AdMod 113. This is 576160 Main Street Complete Streets from Gazelle to Kensington. This is the City of Buffalo project. City of Buffalo is looking to modify this and two other associated projects. The construction phase funding for this project, based on PS&E estimates, engineering estimates, is increasing $49 million to $60 million, a rough increase of $11 million. So to make up that additional $11 million, we have two donor projects, 576319 Bailey Avenue Phase 1, Wind Spirit of Dartmouth. 1.734 million of federal funds will be moved to the Main Street Complete Streets project, and those will be replaced with the local City of Buffalo funds. And phase 2 of the Bailey Avenue project, Dartmouth to Kensington, will also move all construction federal funding, 1.658 million, to Main Street Complete Streets and replace that. The remaining cost increase, roughly $9.418 million, will also be funded with local City of Buffalo funds. The two Bailey Avenue projects will delay their let dates from federal fiscal year 25 to federal fiscal year 26. And this action was presented and recommended for approval by TPS during the July TPS meeting. Anything to add to this one, though?
Just to clarify, I know sometimes when we say donor project, that word can be a little confusing, so just for the public's knowledge, the Bailey project is not going away, it's still moving forward. It's just moving into the next special fiscal year. Other than that, I'll make a motion to approve.
2 seconds.
Made and seconded. Are there any questions on this project? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
The next change has to deal with those Bailey Avenue projects we just discussed as being donors for the great streets. So this request from Buffalo is to merge those two projects into one for deliverability improvement. So that's once again 576319 Bailey Phase 1, Wind Spirit and Dartmouth at roughly 4.24 million. And 576320 Bailey Avenue Phase 2, Dartmouth to Kensington at 2.2 million. These projects will be merged for deliverability under the first pin 576319. Resulting title will also change to reflect the new extent, Bailey Avenue Complete Streets, Wind Spirit to Kensington. The project costs do not change, so the total on the two projects being combined is $7.44 million. The lead is unchanged, remains the same at $215.26 in federal fiscal year 26. This is normally a TPS action, but we are expediting it at PCC today. Nolan,
No, covered it well, Rich.
okay, therefore today's action would be to approve the project merger as AdMod number 114.
City of Buffalo, please come over to approve that in a second.
All right, motion made and seconded. Any questions on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
The tenant representative contract award, there's a resolution in your packet. But I'll go through and just talk a little bit about the process that we undertook for tenant representative. So the short story, tenant representative is essentially a commercial real estate broker. GBNRTC is looking to explore opportunities for downtown office space. We're also doing that in cooperation with NITEC. As we've discussed before, the option of co-locating together is on the table. It's something that could work, we're not sure. So we're going to explore all the opportunities. Us moving on our own space, NITEC moving on its own space, and us potentially moving together. To do that, though, we want to get a tenant representative to help us through the process. So I issued an RFP in June. There were 8 firms who expressed interest. The way that I advertised it was email me, so we knew who we needed to get addendums to. 8 firms asked for the RFP to be sent to them, and we received 2 formal submissions. We put a committee together. It was myself, John Moser, who was GBNRTC's board member rep, Athena representing NITEC, and Brian Kirby representing a board member rep. That's an error. I apologize. We scored the proposals on technical qualifications, technical approach, which is how they were actually going to approach doing the work, and the cost. Go to the next slide. I want to go through the cost proposals because essentially they were determined to be equal. Both of the firms submitted the same cost percentage commission, but there's tons of details with how exactly that's calculated. And not being part of that world, I went through a pretty detailed effort to understand that they were how they actually calculate this proposal. An important detail 99% chance that the landlord that we ultimately signed a lease for pays the commission. That's just how the business works. But because of the fact that we are going to be advertising publicly and anyone can bid on this, we can't guarantee to the tenant rep that the landlord that we choose will be the one paying them. We have to be ready to pay them and understand what we're doing. So we developed a cost term sheet after talking to both of them, and it sounded like they were talking the same language. And then I said it to both of them, and they both said, yes, we accept that, which means that their cost proposals were equal. So essentially what we ultimately made the choice on was qualifications and technical approach. The cost detail proposals, like I said, if the landlord pays the commission, we don't pay anything. That's what is most likely, but in the unlikely event that they won't, it's a 5% commission of the total cost of the lease. So that's rent times years of the lease. We agreed to cap that at 10 years. The industry standard for commercial real estate is somewhere between 5 and 10 years. Being the fact that neither of us want to move, especially NITEC with all their technology, we can pick up and go anywhere anytime. Let's go to want to move. NITEC, though, with everything they're investing, it may be to their interest to be an even longer one. But we still agreed that they would cap the commission at 10 years. And the last thing, there's no compensation due if GBNRTC or NITEC does not sign a new lease. That's another standard for the industry. If we ultimately don't do a deal, they don't get paid. They understand that. So today's action is to approve the review committee's recommendation to award the tenant representative services to CBRE Upstate New York. So we got two, one from CBRE, one from Hannah. They're both good proposals. CBRE distinguished themselves in the committee's opinion. And with that, I will open up any questions that anyone has. Unique.
See, CBRE's got a Syracuse address. Is this a local office?
Yes, they do have. So the Syracuse address is their, I'll say contract office, but they have a local office on Main Street. The staff we're working with are in Buffalo. The address is just who we have to sign the contract with out of Syracuse. Good question. No further questions, and I'll ask for a motion in a second. NFTA motion to approve.
DOT seconds. Got a motion in second. Any further questions on this? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, so that's everything under action items. We'll move on to discussion items. Back to Rich.
Okay, we had 2 action items approved at TPS. So for those who regularly attend, you know that we review these. This is full transparency. This way the public's aware of what actions are being discussed and approved at TPS meetings. So the first one was 582552, the overhead vehicle safety project on Young Street, City of Tonawanda. Construction phase was increased by $125,000. That was offset by $125 being transferred from other phases of the project, including design and right of way. The let date was also delayed from FFY 25 to FFY 26 due to ITS component determination and the delayed topo right of way survey. This was approved as AdMod 115. Second action approved at TPS was 582573, Division Street Bus Stop Canopy Project. This is a TAP awarded project, Transportation Alternatives Program. The design phase was increased by $361,000, and that $361,000 came once again from within the same project from the construction phase. NFTA hopes that once the design phase is done, they'll have a better engineering estimate on the construction costs, and then we'll move to fund that project. This was approved as AdMod 117. There are no questions on those 2 actions. Just giving a quick tip schedule update. So as was mentioned in the beginning of the meeting, we are still waiting on NISDOT to respond to the public comments on their projects. Overall, we received 238 public comments on the tip. The vast majority, well over 200, were directed towards DOT, so they're working on getting a response to those questions. All other members have provided responses on project-specific questions. There are, I think, 7 or 8 procedure questions GBRTC staff were able to respond to. So once all the information from all of the members is received, everyone who commented will receive a response, and the updated draft tip document will include all of those comments, responses, and any revisions that were done since the last draft was put out. Future PCC policy meetings to approve are to be determined based upon when those comments are received and when all of that work just mentioned is complete. Questions on tip development?
Do we need to talk about the letter that we received about the vote on the tip? How does that, just being new, right? How does that impact the funding? If we would wait till January was the request?
But okay, we were just made, the letters received yesterday, so we're still kind of picking through it, kind of determining what type of response will be to that.
Okay.
I will say I don't have any appetite for delayed approval of the tip, and I hope the community shares that sentiment. Having an approved tip is vital to how we manage our projects and moving forward with all the work that we want to get done. So I think there's, once the response is out for Skagit and Kensington, and I'll express, I share frustration with many in this room. But we feel like it's very important to not have a knee-jerk reaction to the comments that we received, to carefully think this out and make sure that these very vital projects, Kensington and Skagit, are well thought out and the right thing is put into the tip moving forward. So we feel like it's worth the time and effort now, but there is not an appetite to delay this tip. So yeah, there's more if anyone else wants to say about this, but we're moving forward as if we're going to respond to these comments. We'll get that information out to the group and vote on a tip hopefully very soon.
Thanks for that clarification, Ben. Okay. That was my only comment, my only question. Thanks.
Moving on, the next item is the roadway departure safety action plan project recommendations. So New York State DOT put out a call with $90 million in roadway departure safety funding geared towards improving safety via engineering, education, enforcement, or creating local road safety plans. Eligible entities for these funds are counties, towns, villages, cities, and Native American nations, and MPOs, and counties if they can sponsor projects on behalf of municipalities. So a systemic approach is looking at widely implemented improvements based on high-risk roadway features correlated with specific severe crash types. So you can see a box to the right side of the screen that looks at all of the different factors to determine if something is above average in terms of roadway departures based on those criteria. There are a series of eligible countermeasures for roads that exceed those high roadway departure rates. Those include the 17 items that are on your screen here. Just go through those quickly. We're familiar with most of those, including centerline markings, curb warning pavement markings, grooved in or retroflective markings in urban interstates, compliant work curb warning signs and pavement markings, enhanced curve signs, shards, which are the shoulder rumble strips, cards, which are the centerline rumble strips, friction, flashing beacons, lighting, widening shoulders, shoulder edge wedges, removing fixed objects, widening clear zones, flattening slopes, barriers, breakaway supports, and once again, creating local road safety plans. So for our area, Erie County was allocated $490,000 for a local road safety plan and $3.92 million for projects. Niagara County, $150,000 for local road safety plans and $1.2 million for projects. Neither of those two counties received any submitted any applications. Any of the municipalities in those counties didn't submit applications for the roadway safety departure, and DOT allowed that local road safety plan money to be put into the project fund. So you can think of the project fund as a combination of those two fund sources. So the local project, call for local projects was sent out by GB and RTC in May to all local municipalities. Several reminders were also sent out. Applications were due June 13th, and reviewing the applications were staff from GB and RTC and NISTOT Region 5.
Before you continue, I wanted to add, GB and RTC did the Safe Streets for All race plan, which is a local road safety action plan for all of Erie and Niagara County. So I think that's probably the reason why we didn't get any applications and why it makes sense for us to take all of that money and put it into just implementation, because we already have a regional plan to work from. But thanks, Rich.
That's a good point, Mike. One of the reasons that we did an overall MPO area Safe Streets for All application was so that the individual municipalities didn't have to do local safety plans. So good point. So in total, $33.3 million in applications were received, well more than what was targeted. After review, there were several projects that were recommended to fit into the planning target. Those included curb warning sign project from the town of Amherst. That is South Ellicott Creek Road, Gettsville Road, Seabrook Drive, Camas Drive, and Brun and Maplemere. Town of Clarence was recommended for a $770,000 project for curb shoulder widening on Delaware Road, mile point 0.68 to 1.05. Erie County was recommended for $3.22 million for curb shoulder widening project, Rapids Road, county line to 1.75 miles east of the county line. And Niagara County was recommended $750,000 for a curb shoulder widening project, Youngstown Wilson Road. Could you go back to that? So those two pictures on the right side, they probably picked the worst day to take a picture of these different treatments, but you can see the first one is the curb warning sign. So those are the arrows that we've all seen when we're driving around a curve. So making sure that those signs are up to code, are visible. And on at the bottom, right-hand side is an example of shoulder widening. Important to note that due to the limited money that was in this program, they didn't allow shoulder widening on straight sections of roadway, just on curved sections of roadway. So that was one of the factors that the different municipalities had to consider when recommending projects. So basically, the process is now, we recommended these projects to the Safety Bureau, main office, DOT. They will make a decision, and hopefully all of these projects will be. Anything else, Nick, that I missed something?
No, yeah, and just so folks know, we submitted well above and beyond what our target was. I'd like to do that in general for all these types of projects, anything else that we do, just, sometimes folks, don't find priorities, don't find projects, and there's always an opportunity to grab some additional funding and do some more work in the area. So, I'm hopeful that we might get a little bit more above our allocation here, but we will find out. I know there's some more outreach going on from main office. From what we gather, and we have no official numbers, is that the interest in the program was below what the state was hoping for. And that's why I'm hopeful that we'll get a little bit more funding allocated here than we originally anticipated. So more to come.
And the majority of the additional projects that were recommended were.
There any indication, this is a one-time funding opportunity or more regular?
There was no indication. It seems like for these types of calls, if there's a lot of interest, then there'll be more of a push to do more. The interest was low on this, but again, they're still feeling through. So there's no indication yet. But we're hopeful. I mean, again, we submitted well, the interest on our end was very high. So, hopeful for that, but no indication.
Another great thing was that the applicants, I think all of them used our race dashboard. So I saved you a small dashboard that was used to identify those different criteria that were eligible and also included in the application. So it's always good to see when you do a plan that the plan's being used, it's not just sitting there. So appreciate that.
Like you said, Ray, that was specifically why we were able to allocate more money towards implementation of projects, as we could show we had a defined plan already done and completed. That was something we had to prove and show to main office before they would consider more implementation money. So
that's part of why I asked if there's additional funding down the road, because everything was pretty fresh on that plan.
Right. Now you can always use HSIP money. That's allocated towards these types of projects. But as far as this specific roadway departure right now, this is the only call that we're aware of.
It's essentially what this is main office took HSIP funding that they have statewide and said, we want to put 90 million into this program. Right? So they can say, we can take the money out and give it to Region 5 because we have so much going on and we have a plan going. So I think we just continue to communicate the needs that we have documented and the money will flow.
More on that, SEMA project update.
Today I just wanted to give you a brief update. We've been working, so this is the planning study, so we're kind of switching gears, more forward thinking. But we have been working on a SEMA project. This title is really long. I'm sitting back there looking at it. So the development of a prioritization framework for smartly enhanced multimodal arterials, but we call it a smart corridor study in our office. So I'll probably refer to it to that. So these are just some of the things I'm just going to cover, and it's going to be a brief presentation. So talk about the SEMA concept. And some of you may remember the SEMA concept that came out of our long-range transportation plan back in 2018, and then it was reaffirmed as part of our 2023 update. Talk a little bit about the framework and how we're going to go about developing that and a scope of work, as well as what some of the next steps are. Thank you. So the overview of the SEMA concept, as I mentioned, so I'm not sure who remembers, but back in 2018, we developed this concept. It was approved as part of our long-range transportation plan. A couple of years ago, we reaffirmed that as part of our 2023 update. And basically what a SEMA, or the Smartly Enhanced Multimodal Arterial, is a smart corridor. So what we refer to really as a smart corridor nowadays. So, integrating smart technology and state-of-the-art design standards in some of our major corridors. So, in the plan, it's very conceptual at the time, as the long-range transportation plan is. So we've had this in our UPW RFP for a number of years to better define what what a SEMA is, what it isn't, and then also lay out a potential for a network of smart corridors in the region. So why SEMA corridors? And I guess it's important to point out that we're doing a lot of this work regionally right now. I mean, we see a lot of technology being implemented with the MyoVision cameras. I always refer to Niagara Street because I think that's a wonderful example of applying some of these technologies to a roadway. Reducing traffic congestion along some of our major arterials. Improving safety, not only for vehicles, but also for all users that are along a roadway, and then also improvements to service reliability. So a ton of different possible technologies. I won't go through all of them, but I just wanted to mention some of them. As I mentioned, so the smart traffic signals, we're doing a lot of that. TSP, we're doing a lot of that. Again, Niagara Street, perfect example. And also Bailey. So a lot of this we're already doing. And so I just listed some of those: EV charging, real-time information, and a number of different technologies that we're exploring as part of this study. So we do have a consultant on board. Transport's helping us put together this study, this plan. And there are 5 work tasks included. So beginning with a scan of national practice, best practices. So we talked with a number of DPWs, planning, MPOs, DOTs throughout the nation to talk to them about what they're doing in terms of integrating technology currently, what's planned, how the implementation's going, what are the costs, how they're funding these things, just to get a general idea of the temperature throughout the nation and what we can bring that's applicable to our area. We have a pretty comprehensive review of the technologies, not only the arterial management, but other technologies in terms of multimodal. A public and stakeholder outreach. This includes a website that Angelica is helping us to put together to basically provide information to the public, but then also give the public an opportunity to provide us with some feedback. We're going to be developing some criteria to look at candidate corridors for technology deployment, and then we will apply that criteria and come back to our members with a proposed network. So the next steps, so I guess I'm just going to bounce to number 4 here. Talked a little bit about 1, 2, and 3 already. So we are hoping in an upcoming TPS meeting to have our present to our members a draft process and the criteria that will be used for prioritize corridors to be included in the SEMA network. And then a few months after that, we'll be able to actually present a proposed SEMA network. And we also have it in our UPW do a phase 2. So that would take it to the next in terms of a demonstration project. So again, a planning effort that we've been working on for the last few months. I guess I don't think I mentioned this, but we did reach out to many of our members, and we appreciate you being part of this process. Just talk about, technology deployment and in terms of how we see emerging technologies being deployed in our region. And that's all I have for today. So a really quick overview. Mike, did you want to add anything?
No, that was very good.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to the continued conversation.
I know there's probably concerns like, oh, what about, the money? And I know it's a really strange time for us, but I think as the MPO, we always want to kind of be looking ahead because things are going to change. And like I said, a lot of this we're already doing, which is exciting, but I guess collectively we could work on developing a plan of where it makes sense to put those investments. So that's what this project's for.
My take on that is the plans attract the money. That's the best projects are well thought out before the money comes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for our discussion items. Let's move on to our status reports, member agency reports. Let's start online. Kevin, you still there?
I am, yeah. Thank you. So for the city of Niagara Falls, I know I've been mentioning this a few times. We finally have executed the contract with Fisher Associates for the Main Street streetscape reconstruction. So that's going to be about from Pierce to Ontario along Main Street, including 3 side streets, Linwood, Cleveland, and Division Streets. So very excited about that. Probably going to be reaching out to State DOT and NFTA just to discuss the plans, get somebody designated so that after we have the kickoff meeting, we can have the teams reach out to you all. Also, Buffalo Ave should be starting construction right now for that streetscape reconstruction. So good things happening. And I think the last thing is John B. Daly Boulevard. The survey crews should be going out soon, do the final work for the property from State DOT. So Nick, I'll be reaching out to you after that survey is complete so we can button everything up and hopefully get that project let out before October 1st. That's all for me.
Thanks, Scott. DOT?
Nothing additional. My update was gonna be what we discussed a little while ago. So that's all I had.
FTA?
Yeah, since we're here at the fairgrounds, it seems appropriate to talk about the Erie County Fair, which starts today. And our service is up on our website. Metro service routes 14 and 16 are extended to the fairgrounds for the duration. Also, Doug talked about the EIS earlier. Comments are can be submitted through September 8th by email or on the website. Don't try to call Jeff this week, he's on vacation. And the public hearing is scheduled for Tuesday, August 19th at 6 p.m. at Sweet Home Middle School, Maple Road in Amherst. If anyone wants to attend. Yes.
Yeah, just a couple things. We've got a couple events coming up. I just want to make the members aware of. We're going to be celebrating our 30th anniversary of NITEC's existence. So if you want details, we're going to have an annual meeting and a celebration at the Transportation Museum. So let me know if you didn't get an invite and you want an invite, let me know because I'll make sure you get an invite. And then we have our yearly golf outing. That event is coming too. So if any golfers want to attend, I have that information.
Thanks.
I don't have anything to through it.
Erie County?
Nothing at this time.
From the city of Buffalo, just a friendly reminder, keep looking out for zone crews. Our paving operations continue for the season. We just approved another contract for additional paving, so we'll continue as the weather allows here. We've had a lot of good effort this season. We'll do that the rest of the year. Thanks.
And Niagara County doesn't have anything to add today. So that, we'll move on to the director's report.
A couple things. Our comprehensive climate action plan, the draft will be out to members today. Kelly and UBRI put a lot of good effort into that. So today we'll start the opportunity for members to look at it, and then in September we'll be doing the public review. Speaking of vacations, I'm going on one starting Friday, and for next week I'm available. Next week is camping, and cell service isn't great there, but I can pop out and take a call if we need to. A reminder on job postings. So we have 2 openings, Transportation Planner 1 and 2. The deadline for that is August 15th. We've already got a ton of responses, but I just wanted to remind we had this open for a long time. That's all for me.
On the community climate action plan, what are the timelines for comment from the public?
Kelly.
So we're asking members to get all comments back to us by the 25th of August. So 2 weeks, and then we'll incorporate comments from the board and also the moving forward. It's been a guiding process. So internal review, and as Mike indicated, we'll be presenting at the September.
Number deadline, I believe, is your big picture.
Yes, yes. So the final plan is due to be by December 1st.
All right, so are there any other items for PCC? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Niagara Falls will make a motion.
Made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. We'll move on to
Yes, so what we're gonna do for policy requires that all members are present and able to vote. Unfortunately, Kevin had a conflict today, which is okay. So what we're going to do though is still do our presentation. And we will ask for any public comments if there are any on the agenda item. But we're gonna vote by ballot after the ballot. We don't have technically a quorum, which is, like I said, not a big deal. We only have one quick item that we gotta do before it expires, but, so with that, I will ask, Amy and Catherine to come up and give the presentation on our transit safety performance measure, I believe. You can skip right to the presentation.
Okay, we'll just do the.
All right.
Yeah, we'll ask for comments after.
Okay.
Okay.
People will be informed on what we're talking about.
Okay. So today we are looking to approve the 2025 transit safety performance measure targets. On July 19th, 2018, the Federal Transit Administration published the Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan Final Rule, which requires certain operators of public transportation systems that receive federal funds under FTA's urbanized area formula grants to develop safety plans that include the processes and procedures to implement safety management systems. Each year, the MPOs must adopt targets. And based on final rule on metropolitan planning, the MPO has the option, as with all other performance targets, to agree to the program investments in support of the transit operators' targets or set their own quantifiable targets. We choose to adopt NFTA's performance measures for these targets. The categories for the performance measures are major events, including all safety and security events as defined by the NTD, the major event rate, collision rate, pedestrian collision rate, vehicular collision rate, fatalities, fatality rate, transit worker fatality, injuries, injury rate, transit worker injury rate, assaults on transit workers, rate of assaults on transit workers, system reliability, and the final one, authority specific goals, is just an extra one that NFTA has for their own purposes. So the Niagara Frontier Transportation Authority Executive Safety Committee has officially adopted these safety targets for the established transit safety categories in the NFTA Metro Agency Safety Plan dated February 27th, 2025. And the GBNRTC concurs with these transit safety performance measure targets for 2025 set by the NFTA for established federal requirements for performance management. Public comments were received for 30 days from April 22nd until May 22nd of this year, and there were no comments received. So today's policy action would be to approve Resolution 2025-17 as 2025 Transit Safety Performance Measure Targets. Are there any questions or comments?
I would just add the safety plan. We went through the review on the triennial this year and have any comments on that. So I got an extra level of review this year. Consistent.
Okay. Anything else?
That's a good reminder. We did do a public comment period on this. I forgot about that because we did it so long ago, but there were no comments received at that. Okay.
Well, then I guess
like I said, we will follow up with a ballot after the fact. Thank you everyone for joining, and meeting informally adjourned.
We need to.
I'm sorry, yeah.
I think we're good.
Okay.
You joined the PCC.
We did adjourn PCC, yes. We did do that official.
Okay.
Everybody, and mini golf is available. So,